So what do you want to talk about, Don?
I don't fucking know.
You want to talk about your knives?
Yeah, we were talking about the boners that I was playing with. Last time we made that 6-inch boner for you.
Yep. So that's my old Forstner, my new Don Nguyen. And now we're introducing this. So I asked Don to make me it's not really a scimitar. So this is a 10-inch breaking knife. Scimitars, you know, got a little more of a curve to it. And the reason I like this knife is, you know, not all butchers just cut meat. So I chop parsley and veg for my sausages and stuff like that. And what I liked about this knife is I was able to, you know, chop the parsley and then go back to breaking beef and do all that kind of stuff. And I just really fell in love with this knife. I've always used like 10-inch scimitars and 12-inch scimitars for breaking beef and cutting steaks and all that kind of stuff. So after you did this one, I fell in love with this one. I was like, Don, I want you to make me something just like this. And this is what you came up with. So, thing of beauty. One thing that I wanted to talk to you about, we talked about weight. My old one, 6 ounces, 11 ounces. I'm like, oh fuck, this is really, really heavy. How's it gonna work? And you know, still yet to really see. I mean, it's definitely different having this in my hand, super light, going over the, you know, the animal. Very comfortable, you know, and that's kind of like, in my head, I'm like, fuck, I think this is too heavy. But it's really not. It's something fun. I'm really, like it's literally day one. I'm super open to it. I know a lot of other old school butchers are just crotchety old fucks. And they're like, oh no, it's, you know, it's too heavy or whatever. I love it. I think it's new, it's different, and I'm excited to see how it drives over the animals. So let's break some beef. Don, can you move those fucking knives out of the way? Oh wait, I got it. It's okay. No problem. So last time we did a forequarter of a beef, or a hindquarter of beef. So this time we'll do a beef forequarter. Hindquarter is the back leg up to the hip, or the middle of the back, I should say. And then the forequarter is the middle back up to the neck. If this were hanging, you know, this would be the first cut that I would make with your sexy little scimitar. I would count 5 ribs up between the 5th and the 6th rib, and I would slice right through here to separate these two pieces. So this is the prime rib section here, and this is the chuck and shoulder here. One cool thing to note, in the UK, a prime rib is only 1, 2, 3, I want to say 4 ribs or 5 ribs, I can't remember, but in America it's 7 ribs. And the reason for that is this beautiful piece of meat right here called the decal, the lifter. It starts to taper down as we go towards the hip or the lower back, like right here. And then
right where?
Right here. So, and then this is the butt, and that's the So anyway,
I feel like a piece of
thank you,
meat right
Jay. Let me get a marker. We'll just write it. This video is gonna go weird pretty soon. So
Yeah.
might have to put this on. Never mind. Let's get to work. I'm excited to use this big baby.
Use a smaller one like 90% of the time, you said?
Yeah, because this carcass has got some nice age on it, which is gonna mean it's gonna eat a lot better. We're gonna be doing a lot more with this big breaking knife here as well. So right off, man, this thing is just smooth because Don sharpened it. As a butcher, my biggest weakness is I suck at sharpening knives so bad. At least I know my weakness. Everybody's got to have one.
Yep.
And besides whiskey and women, sharpening knives is my other one. Real quick, I'll bust this guy down and get it out of the way. This is the inside skirt. There's 2 skirts on a beef. You got the inside and the outside. The inside's literally right on the inside of the rib. This is part of the whole diaphragm system. So the skirt's from the forequarter of the beef. Lots of fat, lots of flavor. Jackie Tran's favorite, fat and flavor. If you all don't know Jackie, that's the Master Marauder right there.
Hi, everybody.
Those are the skirts coming off. Next thing I'm going to do is take off what's called the navel, the belly of the beef. Basically, beef bacon is going to come from this section right here. So what I'll do real quick is I will grab John, do you make saws?
I've never done it,
But, so what I want to do here is I'm going to look for where the short rib meat ends. You see that nice big chunk of meat right there? See all the meat ends, and then it's just fat. So this is my navel right here, or the belly. Here we go. Slow motion. Slow motion. Not even like going up and down, just straight. It's a nice sharp knife. So there's the navel. I'm going to take the short rib plate off. So I'm going to look for that little end of the ribeye. This is the ribeye section here. That little eye right there. Come about a finger away from that. So I start on one side, flip it. How hard would it be to make a saw, Don?
I don't know. It's probably easy as fuck. What's the worst that could happen?
I'm not sure. Alright, look, boom, there it is. The Don Nguyen in action.
Where does your meat come from?
From Arizona. This is all raised and harvested by the University of Arizona Meat Science Lab. So this is like 4-H kids, college students, they all raise these animals locally in Tucson. So yeah, this big boy will just be used to clean up all the rough edges on here, get all this dry goop off of here that I don't want to go into my hamburger trim. And then my little guy will come and do all the small fine work around the edges. So back to my Ferrari for the fine work. I don't know what I'm doing, Don. I watched a YouTube video on how to do this last night. You'd think I'd learn it by now. Oh, that's right, you can edit it all. Yep. So this guy's fun to cut off. See, it's got that little hook in there that like literally holds it in. So you gotta come down, and that's where the little 6-inch baby comes into play. This is the ligament that holds it on that I'm working to cut through and pop it off of. She's a beast. Now I'm going to take the shoulder off. So I'm going to come along the front arm to get to the shoulder blade.
Are you doing this all by feel? Or like, are you thinking through your steps and stuff like that?
Yep. So I glide along the arm bone here, and then the shoulder blade is right here, and I want to feel that bone with the knife, and I literally use the knife to glide right along the bone. So that's where I cut, not cutting into the muscle in the wrong spot, if you would. So it's feel, sometimes you feel wrong. So this is all that fascia that I was telling you about coming off.
Yeah.
You can just hear it ripping.
Oh yeah.
So I went a little high on my flat iron, but nobody needs to know that. I did it perfect.
How often does that kind of happen? Just like things that aren't 100% perfect?
Well, because it's right on the edge, it's not too bad of a mistake, because you're always going to clean up some of those edges anyway to get nice square, good looking ends.
Yeah.
So I'm just working around this arm round bone right here, trying to get it off. I almost cut myself right there. Shh, don't tell anybody. And then you can see the little joint right here, the arm joint.
Yeah. Okay.
It just spit on my face. The joint fluids just went.
That's gross.
No, it's not.
Least you can do is choke you first.
This guy is a trip right here. I mean, look at that ligament.
Oh jeez. Wow.
See how big that is? Gnarly, huh?
Yeah.
This is the chewy stuff that you get in your ground beef that you don't like. Right there. Jackie likes it though.
Yeah.
He's like, what are you talking about over there? I love that stuff.
But you wanted to hang like that too.
Yep. We just scooped out the. This is the back of your shoulder, right here. One of my favorite cuts. Don't tell anybody.
That's a secret too.
Super delicious. Yes. It's a secret. You haven't used the big boy yet, huh?
Yeah.
Not much. Yeah, it's just you can get in to all those little tight spots, you know. The little boner gets up close and personal. Bigger's not always better, Don. Okay.
Thank you for that. That noise is pretty satisfying.
What's that? Oh yeah.
Yeah. When it just drips like
That
that.
one.
You think about doing some pushing
Blade.
ASMR?
What is that?
ASMR, it's like those videos people watch with the sound. It's like the sound
Ah,
is so nice, they get
yeah.
the chills down your spine.
Yeah. Yeah, we can have some fun.
You're still doing an ASMR video?
Yeah. Has like a note.
There's some really good sounds.
What part is this now?
So what I've taken off was the so far was the shoulder blade. So
Okay.
your whole this whole section right here that moves.
Right.
Basically the forearm, shoulder blade. So it's the flat iron, the shoulder, and the mock tender. And now we're going in for the neck and the chuck, the rib and the brisket. But I'm going to carve all this dry bits off, and then I'm going to take the neck bones off. So far, 6-inch boner's getting all the fun. Being small, you can get into spots nobody else can. So the neck bones are off. And I do this totally different than most conventional butchers because I like to get really fun, meaty cuts for my customers. They like things different. So basically, right now I'm going in for the Korean style short rib section.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Yep. The big boy finally gets drawn. It's like a one and doneer. 6-inch guy gets all the action. Lots of motion, never stops, can go all day. The big guy, he's like a one and done, literally. Like, I mean, look at how many times has this guy seen action today. He's big, he's beautiful, he's sexy, but he doesn't get used all that much.
Oh, this is sad.
We're just gonna separate the chuck here and expose. Look at that sexy. Woo. How beautiful is that?
Fine.
So this right here is the chuck flap, also known as the Korean style short rib, boneless short rib. Korean style short ribs, the flanking ribs are these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ribs here. And then your true short ribs are the next 3 ribs, which were part of that other beef plate. But I mean, these guys are just, look at all that meat right there. And that's why I like to cut this way. It's like most people, you know, leave that on as the chuck roast. It's still there. You still are getting that. But those who like the bone, I like to leave it all together as one, and you'll see why in a little bit more. So there's our chuck. Now all that's left is our brisket or our breastplate. So the brisket is literally the chest of the beef right here. Boom. This is the brisket, the boobs. The boobs of the beef. That's why all the people in the barbecue world like the brisket. They're all boob guys. So you don't necessarily need to use a saw to cut these. You can get right through this cartilage with a knife, but I'm just not that strong. I'm just gonna barely break through the ribs there. And then I'll bring out the man of action. Stamina to go all day long. 6-inch boner.
You name your boners.
Maybe. I hope my mom never sees this video. See, this is just, the little guy can just get in there, do all that fine work. Get all that off of there.
So when you're talking about doing it differently, you're doing the Korean style short ribs and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
Is that a compromise the way you're doing it, or is it just like time?
Yeah, there's a bit of a compromise there, for sure. Yeah. Yep.
But it's just that's the way you like to do it, the way you cut
Yep.
it. Like,
Yep. I just think you get great, you know, a lot of meat will just, people will just turn it right into burger. They want to do it fast. They want to do it dirty, fast and dirty. I like to do it slow and clean. I mean, I'm not opposed to fast and dirty at times, but you know, there's a place for a little bit of all of it. Why does that just keep coming up? It's so funny. But yes, you know, like really, like there's so much good meat on an animal. You know, why just get in there and cut and leave all the gristle and sinew and junk on it when you can get in there? I mean, that's how all these new cuts kind of were found out, because everybody's always bought New York strips and ribeyes, and that's just kind of the go-to cut for us Americans, where everybody else in the world just, and I was thinking about this on the way to work today, like, you know, the French have the lard, they render it all down, they'll eat the blood, the heart, the liver, the kidneys. Americans just want to eat fucking New Yorks and ribeyes and call it a day. Well, then they get into their brisket and stuff like that, and then you got like your curry people who will just take a whole chicken and just cut it up and throw it all in there, fat, bones, everything. It just all goes into the pot and people just eat through it all. So that's the brisket there. This is called the Vegas strip right here that I'm cutting off. This comes off at the top of the chuck. This usually just gets thrown into ground beef or put into the chuck roast, but this is actually very flavorful and tender. So what we've done is instead of putting this into a chuck roast and selling it, you know, for whatever price, we have turned this into the quality piece of meat that it is, and you know, cut it as such so that people can take it home and grill it instead of just throw it in a crock pot and roast it. So you're getting the full benefit of everything from this animal.
So something I'm wondering, if you didn't have a cow that was like as good as this, would your approach change? Like, would you still be doing these cuts, or?
No, they would. Yeah, they would. There's burger cows that are just so lean and there's not much to them that you just, yeah, you literally just will turn everything into ground beef.
Okay.
Yep. So now we're kind of done with all of our sections, and I can start showing you a little bit more what this big guy will do. So let's take a second to kind of clean up my table, and we will look at all of our cuts. All right, so this is pretty much everything that's coming off of, not the full 4/4 of beef, but this is just the shoulder, what's called the chuck of the beef. You've got your chuck, which is the middle of the back. You've got your brisket, which is the breast, your shoulder, which is literally that of the shoulder and the shoulder blade together, and then your Korean style flanken ribs here, super meaty. Like, I'll sell this whole plate just like that. Like, this is something you can cook up just as it is. You can slice it really, really thin, and that's your bulgogi, right? So that's just kind of gonna hang out there. I'm not gonna do anything with that because this is special. I try to sell these whole to some people. A buddy of mine just smoked a rack of these and had them for breakfast the other day with some eggs. But now I've got these big chunks of meat. The 6-inch boner has had its fun in the field, and now it's time for the big guy to kind of show up the little guy. So see, the little guy I'm not going to use for all this. I mean, it would take forever to get all this big fat off, big long strokes. So now we're just going to clean up this brisket, get all this sinew and fat off of here. Just nice long strokes, nice even strokes. Knife works great, Don. It's beautiful.
That's good to know. How's the weight so far now?
Fine, you know, I think the thing that worries me about the weight is like cutting too much into it, but I've got control of the knife. I'm the one telling it how far to go. It's just learning to use something different, something of quality. This guy just drives great. If you could just teach me how to sharpen it, we'll be good.
I remember the profile is a little different than the previous one, and so far you're not noticing that getting in the way or anything?
Right, no, I laid them both next to each other pretty closely, and it's, you know, this one seems like it's got a little more of a curve right up there, and it's driving fine over everything, you know? Yep. But no, it's great. I like it. I'm happy with it. So the brisket's done. See how much more I'm using this guy now?
Yeah.
So the one is my breaking knife, and this is my getting down and dirty on everything knife. You know, I'm not gonna be able to use that little knife to cut through all of this and make my steaks, such as that. Should I bring the other one out for comparison? Which do you prefer?
I like both.
Oh, you do? Oh, so you like them both? So, okay. Where were we? Let me just finish cleaning these guys up, and then we'll go from there. How's that? Since I got them out here. That's the chuck eye. So this is where this big boy really, you know, all joking aside, you know, this is where it's at right here. Just, you know, right over the top of this big hunk of beef. Boom. Works great, man. It's a really nice knife. I'm so happy.
What's your schedule like nowadays?
We're working five and a half days a week. Not long days, you know. But trying to, you know, there's plenty to do every single day. There's lots of meat orders coming in, but we're trying to not work long days and stay healthy.
Yeah.
I've legit not been drinking a lot, which is, you know, I'm a bourbon and whiskey kind of guy. So now I'm only working like 8 hours a day at the most, and then 1 or 2 cocktails a week at most.
Dang.
Yeah, I know, right? But, you know, there's a lot of shit going on, so I want to be safe. I want to be healthy. I want to make it through this Corona thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then, like, shoot, if something happens to me, I think of all the food that I've got to provide to other people, and that would just stink.
Right.
We're doing this rad thing where we're feeding our community of chefs that have lost their job. So I'm pretty psyched about working with a couple of local chefs, preparing meals for our people who've lost their jobs and just don't have the money. So that's been a fun thing that we're doing.
And it seems like a lot of people like what you're doing with the boxes and stuff.
Yeah, they're super into it.
People now, it seems like buying local, buying from, you know, people they like before.
Yep. Well, and they don't have to go to the grocery store.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, they come here, they get everything that they need, or we deliver to them. They go online, they place their order, and it shows up at their door.
Yeah.
See, you just can't do those big moves with a 6-inch boner. Coming up to the end here, all of our roasts are done, all the chuck eyes are done, some shoulders.
Like my first job.
What about you? What's next for you?
What's next for us? I think we're just gonna continue to do this retail thing. You know, we've been doing a lot of wholesale for the last couple of years. We've done the farmers markets, but this whole COVID thing hit. All the restaurants that used to buy from us, you know, aren't anymore because they got to make things work for themselves. But our retail has just gone through the roof, and everybody wants it home delivered. And so we're just going to keep riding this wave of retail.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun. It's gotten our name out there a lot more, and we've met some great people, and it's been fun. You know, retail is hard because you can get some people that just come to you and they are all kind of snooty, and that's what a lot of people don't like about retail. But my customers aren't like that, and I feel that we have we establish good relationships with our customers, and the ones that aren't cool, we just don't really deal with every day. We tell them to kind of like peace out.
I feel the same. Like I think it's a similar thing for me too.
Yeah.
It's like the guys that I work with, they're super understanding of like, you know, like sometimes I fuck up or sometimes things take longer.
Yeah. All right, dude, I'm done.
Cool. Well, now, yeah.
Okay.
That's good. That was about an hour.
Was it?
Yeah.
Got some good stuff to work with?
I hope so.
I think so.
I think so.
If not, we can do it again.